It's another adventure, but my thought was we go minimalist. And we're going to use my iPhone 16 Pro as my main camera. We're going to leave here and head out to Orlando Wetlands recharge area. Have you ever been there?
I have not, so this should be interesting.
It's very interesting. And we'll get out there and walk around some stuff out there. Well, Eric, here we are at the Orlando Wetlands.
Sounds like an adventure in front of us.
It's an adventure. We got fog out here, and it's going to be perfect weather for taking pictures. So let's take a walk over there and take a look at the check-in and walk out and take a look at what we have here.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's get started.
Let's go.
Eric and I signed in, and as we round the corner, the bathroom facilities are really pretty nice here at Orlando Wetlands. There's even a paved sidewalk if you happen to be on a wheelchair. The foggy morning and the paved sidewalk just helped this image out, with Eric up ahead leading us to where we're heading, toward the visitor center. Once you pass the visitor center, it's a nice little walk down to the boardwalk. But what neat things we see along the way. This is the Cypress Boardwalk Trail we'll be walking on. Notice the cypress trees in the background in the fog. This is going to be quite an adventure. This image worked. I would have liked the gentleman to be a little bit further into the image, but the rail worked bringing my eye into the image as well. I like the reflections in the water, the fog, and the bird up in the tree, as well as the sable palm off in the distance. Now I'm taking the image, looking at what the gentleman might have been taking the picture of. I really like the reflections in the water of the palms. I like placing the palm on the right-hand side of the image in a third, and also using the bulrushes off to the left to kind of frame the image. The reflections and the misty mood of the palms in the distance just kind of made this one look almost surreal. As we walked along the boardwalk, the other side was very interesting as well. The cypress trees off in the distance with the fog around them was just a fantastic sight to see. I wanted to get the picture of the bird way off in the distance, so I switched my iPhone over to 1x lens. That enabled me to enlarge this a little bit better in Lightroom and Topaz. The bird was placed in the upper third, kind of on the right-hand side of the image, and I was using the left-hand side of the silhouette trees to kind of bring the eye into the picture, and the fog just kind of made the image. As we walked along the boardwalk, we came across some common gallinules right there beside the boardwalk. You will find that in the wetlands, most of the birds and animals that we see are very used to humans, and you can get very, very close to them, so be careful. This is the image of the common gallinule that we just saw. Not super happy with the way this image came out. I would like to have seen the eye reflected better. He's looking in the right way, and I like the color, but the image just couldn't be worked up quite to the extent I would have done if I wasn't using my iPhone 16 lens. As we walked along the boardwalk, this is where a lot of photographers, and you'll see a lot of people are taking images, and we're looking at a rookery of rosette spoonbills that are nesting right beside the boardwalk. The wide-angle lens on the camera does look pretty good, and it does let me bring in the trees where I wanted them in the upper third and a little bit to the right. The rosette in the center worked out, and it kind of brings the reflections in the water, brings the eye in from the left to the right. Okay with it, but not excited. I switched over to the 1x lens, which should have given me better quality of the images I was getting. But you can see where placement was okay, lower third and a little bit to the right. I'm happy with that, but the blowout of the whites and it was just not what I liked, which is very typical of what I seem to get if I'm using my iPhone camera for really good photography. I went ahead and tried again with another shot, a little bit underexposed this one more, and it came out a little bit better. And the little birds you can see in front of the mother bird here. Overall, I'm happy with it, but once again, okay, but not something I'm real excited about. This is looking back on the Cypress Boardwalk Trail where he just came from. In the distance, you can see the photographers all taking pictures of the rosette spoonbills we saw earlier. As Keith and I turned around and started walking, lo and behold, here was a gator coming right beneath the boardwalk where we were standing. I ran over to the other side and got the same gator coming out. This is probably an 8 to a 9-foot gator swimming right beneath us on the boardwalk. Switched over to the 1x lens. I like the way the image came out. The gator is moving from right to left this time, and you can see the eye of the gator, which is what I wanted. Not quite as happy with post-production, as sharp as I would have liked the image to be. Walking along the boardwalk once again, we came across some early morning fog on a cobweb, which really caught my eye. I underexposed this image a little bit, and I like how it came out. The water droplets on the cobweb are kind of interesting, and we actually stopped the motion. It has a feeling of going from left to right, which is your eye movement. It'll work, but once again, I would like to have had things a lot sharper if I could have had it. Moving along the boardwalk, up ahead you'll see where it turns to the right, and there's a junction, and there's a beautiful stand of cypress trees with a beautiful reflection. This is a great blue heron nesting up in a group of the trees right near where the boardwalk is. Great blue heron on its nest looked pretty good. I liked where he was placed in the image, being right off to the third, right-hand third, looking away into the person's eye coming into the left. You kind of stay there looking at it. It was okay, happy with the image. This is the junction between Limpkin Lane and the Osprey Boulevard. Looking back, you can see where we came from, all the way back to where all the photographers were taking images, and this is Eric coming toward me. Looking back at where I was just standing, wide-angle shot showing the dock come in from left to right. I like that. Lower third, the middle of the frame, and you can see way off in the distance where photographers are still taking images. I turned around and took another image. I like the boardwalk coming in from left to right, and that's Eric way off in the distance. And if you look down in the image, you'll actually see a gator right on the bank. I'm at the end of the dock now, and here is a tricolored heron, very close to me as we begin to get off the dock. This is pretty incredible to get this close to these birds. I like this image of a tricolored heron. I really like the reflections in the water. Exposure came out pretty good this time. I like the movement from left to right, and the picture just looked fine for me. I like the clump of grass in the lower left-hand corner as well. This is another image of that tricolored heron. I like the little bit of grass to left coming in from left to right. I got a picture of the eye, and the image came out fairly clear. Moved them into a little bit in the upper left-hand third of the image area. Happy with this picture. We're off the boardwalk now, heading back to the Orlando Wetlands Visitor Center, and as you walk on the berm between two areas of water, lo and behold, right beside us is a fairly large gator, probably not more than 15 feet away. Whenever I'm taking pictures of gators, I like to get down almost to eye level with them and try to get their eye right in focus, so I'm looking right at them. This one worked out pretty good. The vegetation in front of the gator was okay, and the eye moves in from left to right, and you actually can see the gator's eye. Not too bad. Walking along the same berm, we came across another gator, much larger, definitely on the bank. Should be easier to take an image of this one. I wanted to get in a little bit closer. I didn't need a picture of the entire gator. Got down low, and I liked the image coming in from left to right. Definitely could see his face better, and his little arm coming off the left side filled in the picture just where I wanted it. He's almost in the central part of this image. The only problem I have with this is that as I use the iPhone camera, a lot of times my highlights get washed out, and I don't get quite as sharp a picture as I really would have liked. This is the berm that Eric and I were walking along. Looking to the left, we see a beautiful stand of cypress trees silhouetted against the morning foggy sky. What a beautiful picture this is, and a place to be out this morning. This is Eric, and we're walking along the berm again, and lo and behold, just off to the side of the berm, we see another gator. Now this gator has got to be 10 to 15 feet long. It is a really big gator. You don't want to mess around here. As you look at this picture of the gator, I'm using my wide-angle lens, trying to get Eric's hat in the picture, but typically with the iPhone, I usually lose my highlights, and this is what's happening here. being very careful. We're a little ways from this gator, and we're watching him very carefully. You want to be very careful in getting down close to ground to take pictures like this, and be sure you're staying a good distance from the gator. I switched over to the 1x lens on the iPhone and backed away a little bit and noticed the grass on either side of the gator's head. I like that to kind of frame the gator, and I like the gator coming in from the upper left toward the lower right. Kind of guides the eye into the image. Sometimes when taking pictures of gators, you need to be very careful in getting down to the ground low and getting them up, and make sure you stay a great distance from these gators. They are used to people being around, but be very, very careful. This is the same image taken again, but I cropped it a little bit closer. I still have the grass on either side framing in the face of the gator. You can definitely see the eye, and sometimes less I kind of like better than more. But once again, the image is okay, but I don't get the sharpness I normally would like in an image of this type. This is the Visitor Center. On our way back, we started out our journey on the other side. We had a great time this morning and a lot of fun. I talked to the Orlando Visitor Center when we got back, and they allowed me to take this video inside. This is definitely a place you want to visit if you go to Orlando Wetlands. I hope you have fun and enjoyed this video. I want to wrap up this little video telling you that I do use the iPhone 16. I do shoot in RAW. I do have the grid. And most of the time I shoot in 1x, no matter what I'm shooting, if it's indoors particularly. So if you want no information, please send me an email, like the channel, subscribe, and I'll be happy to send it to you at no additional charge. And I'd never share anyone's emails.